Good morning, everybody. We'll just get started once everyone gets settled. So once you find a place to sit, just allow yourself to feel your feet on the ground beneath you. And for some of us, that's actually the earth is right beneath our feet, and others, maybe it's a floor or two below you, or maybe much further for some. So just let yourself see if you can tap into that connection with the earth right now. Which is also something that I think it's easy to forget about. It's easy to forget that even when we're in a building, that the earth is still all around us. So just let yourself feel that right now. And then as you're allowing yourself to feel the connection with the earth, let yourself go deeper into your own self, noticing your breath. And how is your breath currently moving through your body right now? Noticing what parts of your body it's touching. Can you feel your breath all the way up in your shoulders and your neck and your head? Maybe even down to your toes. Just play with that for a moment. See how far you can stretch your breath in all directions. And as you start to play with your own breath, you can tap into the breath of the earth right now and just noticing the wind, if there's any wind or breezes around you, and just seeing how that might be similar or maybe different from your own breath in this moment. And just like a wave, even the wind, if it is gusting ever, it never just constantly gusts, right? There's always a breath of some sort. It might be strong, but there's always sort of a wave with it. And see if you can find that wave in your own breath and then also in the breath of the earth around you right now. And as you're doing that, see if you can find where you might meet. Is there a place where your own breath meets the breath of the earth? And even if that's inside, if you're inside right now, just noticing the air moving around you. And is there a place where you can find where you meet, or are you really two separate entities this morning? Maybe the earth, breath of the earth is just really intense or very, very slow and almost imperceptible. So just notice where you meet with the earth right now. So again, sometimes I talk about this, that it's easy to think that these practices don't have much to do with birds, you know? Like, this is a bird sit. What are we doing talking about our breath? But up on the sky around me right now, there's some turkey vultures floating on the earth, and so it's just good to get tapped into the direction of the air and noticing how strong it is or how different it might be down on the earth's surface versus higher up in the sky, and that can help you tap in more to the experience of the birds. Okay, great. So you've spent a bit of time now with our breath, and let's now shift over to our ears. So letting your eyes just fall where they will for now. Won't focus on them just yet. And really, and you can even close your eyes for this moment if you'd like to, if that helps you to tap more deeply into your ears and your ability to hear. And just let yourself listen right now. Just take it all in. Don't necessarily, we're not looking for anything in particular right now. So just let yourself take whatever sounds in your hearing. And just notice where they take you. Just see if you're drawn to the sounds that might be the more loud and dominant or prominent sounds, or are you drawn to the sounds that were more subtle, maybe? And then maybe some of you have already done this, but see if you can layer on that awareness that we had of our breath and the breath of the earth to the sounds that you're hearing right now. And just noticing if there's a place where they connect, where the sounds and the wind or the air might be touching each other, might be connecting in some fashion. And so if your natural inclination or just wherever you were drawn was to a loud sound or a quiet sound, see if you can shift that right now and intentionally seek out the opposite of that. So if you were attending to the loud one, see if you can find a more quiet or subtle sound right now. And then to take it one level deeper with the sounds, you can bring yourself to the awareness of one of those sounds. And then see if you can put yourself in the shoes or the paws or the talons of whatever it is, you might have been listening to. So maybe it's an insect, maybe it's leaves. Just let yourself imagine being that one right now, whatever it is that you were drawn to listen to. Okay, good work. So now we're going to bring our awareness to our eyes with some intention now. So send your eyes, your gaze off into the distance. Find one point to look at. And it can even be the space in between, like maybe there's some trees off in the distance, but there's this really clear space in between them. You can focus on that if you'd like. Or whatever it may be, a piece of a building, something you can identify. And just let your eyes focus as much as you can. Like if that's all that mattered right now, you're just really focused on that one point. And then you're going to slowly Allow your vision to ripple out in 360 degrees all around you, but you're still looking forward. You're still gazing toward that one point and just softening everything else. And give yourself a couple minutes just to do this and let yourself really soften your vision. And now I'd like you to shift your awareness into your own body again, into your own emotions, and just noticing if you might be in a different place than when we started, only just a few moments ago. But just in doing these couple of simple practices, just seeing if anything has shifted for you. It might not have, that's fine. But if it has, just take note of that and notice what emotions you're feeling right now. And so emotions rather than thoughts. So like I feel whatever rather than I think whatever. So tap into your feelings right now. All right, good work. So now what I'd like you to do is as you're, we'll keep our vision soft for a little bit right now, just allowing it to be nice and soft and, oops, neighbor's dog. Got distracted by the neighbor's dog for a minute. Almost ran the road. Um, keep your eyes nice and soft. You can glance around now. Now that you've tapped into your softened vision, you can look around if you'd like. You don't have to just stay on that one point, but just try and continue to go back to it being soft. And what I'd like you to do, or at least invite you to do, is to have the intention to see something new. So most of us are in our homes right now, or maybe a place that we're familiar with. If you're not, that's okay. I'm not in a place I'm super familiar with right now. But, in the space around us, we often have expectations of what we might see or hear, what we could expect. Like, some of us, if we were in South Carolina right now, like with me, I might not expect to see a grizzly bear walking down the street, right? And some of you up in Montana or other parts of California, for instance, you might not expect to see an alligator walking across the road. So, but you never know. It's just keep your mind curious right now. And I'd like you to look at the landscape and just notice the times where you go into the place of what's normal and common and expected, and then see if you can go beyond that. Just let yourself sort of gently nudge yourself beyond what might be expected and see what you find. And we'll just stay in silence for the next like 4 minutes or so, and we'll just play with this. And some of you now may have found something new in your environment, others maybe not yet. I encourage you to keep looking, keep listening, asking that question of what is new, what is different from what I'm used to. And if you have found something new, then just allow yourself to stay curious, because it's really surprising, or maybe not so surprising, how quickly we can just become comfortable with that new thing, and it just becomes old, and then like maybe stop losing the curiosity about it. So, and you can do that whether or not you've found something new. Just stay curious. Okay, now we'll play with a different level of this. So we've done this once before, where you want to think about, so all of you likely have, walked either through a door or past a wall or something to get to the place where you're sitting right now. So I don't want you to look at it. So close your eyes if you're feeling like you're in a safe place to do so. Close your eyes, and I just want you to think and to really picture, that's more of it, to picture whatever it is that you had passed. So maybe it's, again, if it's a wall, maybe it's some shrubs to get to where you are, maybe it was plants. I just want you to have a picture of that in your mind and see if you can paint it, and then see if there's any missing places, because these are places that likely most of us are pretty familiar with, but there are pieces of that that we just sort of glance over every day. So let yourself just play with that image right now in your mind of what it is, like what's near the doorway that you walk through, where the window is located, what color is everything, any details that you can think of, like how many shrubs are actually there, and is there any moss growing on the tree that you passed? Whatever it might be, just let yourself get really curious about it. All right. And make sure in your mind as you're painting the picture that you're going all around and just really get detailed with it, you know? Like for me, there's a tree in front of me with a fence, and I was trying to wonder, like, does the tree, is it in, I mean, is the tree in front of the fence or behind the fence? Does the fence go through it? Like, really get yourself kind of like geeky about the details. Like, what color is the roof? What's the shape of the roof if you had to pass through the roof? What's the angle of the steps that you might have walked up and all of that. We'll do that for one more minute. Okay, so now before opening your eyes, keep them closed if you still can. I want you to think about the sky. So, are there any clouds in the sky? And if so, what are their shapes? Is the sky totally blue and clear? Might there be a little cloud off in the distance? And just let yourself think about that. Ponder what the sky is like right now. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes, look at the sky, look at the area around you, see how many details you got right or what you might have missed. All right. And once you feel complete with your exploration of the area, just offer gratitude to whatever ones you connected with today, whether it was plant, animal, human made. Let yourself offer some gratitude to those ones in the next moment. Okay, well, thank you, those of you who showed up today. As you know, if you need to go, feel free to head out whenever you need to. If you'd like to stay for our chat at the end, where we just sort of talk about what happened during the sit, then you're welcome to stay also. So thank you for those who came and need to go. May you have a beautiful week. And if anyone would like to stay, I'd love to hear from folks, like what came up for you. Did anyone see anything new or unexpected in their yards? And yeah, let's see. Sorry, I have my thing covering someone. It's snowing, Joy. It's snowing
It
where you are.
is.
Oh my gosh.
And that's new because this is the first snowfall that we've really had. And I came out here and it was fine. And the sun was even shining a little bit. And now it's quite a storm going on. So I've probably got to take myself inside to save my computer.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. What a different, like it's the, yeah, our country is incredible. Just the
Yeah,
diversity that
it
we can
is.
have. Yeah.
Yes. But
Wow.
when we were talking about emotions, and that really was a good one for me this morning, lots of stuff going on. But for right now, while I'm sitting here doing this meditation with everybody, everything's okay. So that was my feeling this morning too. So I'm going to go inside now.
Yeah, sounds good, Joy. Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you're feeling that everything's okay right now. Yeah. All right. Let's see. And sorry, there's lots of things up. Cindy, go for it, Cindy. Yeah.
Hi. Well, here in Central Oregon, it's 13 degrees. I put on a lot of layers. I thought I'm going to try that going out and sitting. And the sun's out, so it's pretty nice, actually. Um, I was surprised when you said pick something you went past. So I picked behind me, there's a very large red twig dogwood bush, huge one. And I knew I had to come past that to get to the sit spot. And I thought, oh my gosh, I don't even know if it's got no leaves, green leaves, red leaves. I don't even know if those berries are picked clean by birds, or there's still some white berries, or what's going on. It's just something taken for granted, I guess. But I thought and thought and thought about it. I mean, it's a wonderful, splendid shrub. And so that was pretty interesting to me that I didn't have a clue, because I always walk out here and focused on what birds are on the pond, I walk right past that glorious bush anyway. So that was interesting to me. And then the other thing that caught my interest as new was more a behavior than a thing. We've had some hooded mergansers on the pond lately, and I'm always admiring them. But I watched them, and they were in pairs, and they were preening. I just thought, oh, they're preening. And then I watched them, and what was weird was they were kind of mirroring each other as they preened. They were not doing, the throw back the head, the mating thing. But they sure seem to be mirroring each other. So there's something going on there. And that kind of got my curiosity going. So that's about all I have to share today.
Wow, Cindy, thank you for all of that and all just the detail that you shared about the merganser's behavior that you were aware of and the subtleties with that. And also, isn't that interesting? Like when we get to know, we have a friend, like a tree friend or a shrub friend that you're always walking past, and just to realize, like, how well do I really know that one? How much attention do I really give that one? And
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm so excited for when you turn around and walk past it and all that you'll get
I know.
to know. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hmm. Who else would like to share? Yeah, Linda, go for it.
Okay. Well, it's very cold here too, so I'm indoors now, but I'm looking outdoors. And I just love the breathing part, where we're connecting with the breath. I've done yoga over the years quite a bit, and I just love breathing. It always puts me in a really mindful, excited place, because really when I connect with my breathing, I just see and feel so much more. And I thought of the trees. I mean, I'm breathing with the trees, because trees breathe out oxygen. We breathe oxygen in, and then we breathe out carbon dioxide, and the trees breathe in our carbon dioxide. And it just felt so cool this morning to think about that, because it's very cold here too. Like in Oregon, it's like 15 degrees here, and it just was wonderful. And then I think of the birds. I thought of the birds this morning too as like a bridge between the trees and everything else, like humans that are breathing around it. And because birds can sing on both the inhale and the exhale. So they have this unique system I don't understand, but I just have read about it. And so then when you said, well, look for something new, well, I knew I wasn't going to be able to see any alligators here. That would be new, but I'm in Montana. So anyway, but this robin, I'm pretty sure it's a robin, showed up on the branch of the big ponderosa pine tree. That's probably, well, I've been using the tools that I'm learning in the advanced, the master's class with size. So I was trying to determine, what this bird was, because it's a very flat light right here now. It's very dense clouds and cold. And it looks, it looks like the size of a robin, based on familiar things that I have in the house that I'm relating to it. So I've been just watching this robin. Seeing a robin at this time of year and this cold is unusual. They're not usually here. So it's really wonderful. And I was watching this robin, and periodically, it's not moving much, but periodically it looks like it fluffs up its feathers, and then it fluffs them down, and then fluffs them up, and then fluffs them down. Just like a chicken almost, you see chickens when they're, so anyway, he's still up there and he seems just fine. Fluffs up his feathers and fluffs them down. So I just thoroughly enjoyed this meditation mindfulness this morning with this robin. And the tree out here breathing with them. So thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Just it just gave me this idea, this feeling of, you're right, of like being with them, and like that there is this relationship. And I think so often in our modern world today anyway, that it's really easy to think of like humans bad, like we get so much information about all the things that we're doing that are detrimental to the environment, you know, and just to think that that just our simple breath is actually a beautiful thing, you know, it could be a good thing for the world. And how wonderful
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, right.
Yes.
So cool. That's so cool. Thank you so much. And I loved getting, like, through you, getting to know that robin that's out up on your tree right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's one very brave robin.
Yeah, yeah, I bet.
Oh,
Thanks, Linda.
you bet. Thank you.
Um, this morning, so I was excited that we did this practice today because so I've been in this, I'm in an Airbnb, and I've been in this Airbnb for, I think it's almost a week now. So I've gotten to know it like pretty well, you know, but still have a lot to learn. And it's on a, as you can hear, a relatively busy road. And whenever I've looked up into the sky, I think just about every time, unless it's a jay, but like up high in the sky, it's always been the black vultures, like almost every day, black vultures, black vultures. And so today we started the practice and I was looking out and I see black vultures. And then all of a sudden, like, and I might have normally just sort of turned away quickly because I'd be like, oh, the black vultures, you know, and then turn away. But this time I was like, let me look for something new. And so I looked at the black vultures and I was like, hang on a second. That's not a black vulture. Like there was a couple black vultures for sure, but then there were some new ones. And I was like, oh my gosh. I think I don't know exactly who they are yet. I didn't have my binoculars actually because I ran out here so quickly. But it reminded me of when I was in Israel seeing, and now I can't remember which ones I saw in Israel, whether it was like a stork or the pelicans. I think it's the white pelicans that we saw in Israel, but and these could have been the brown pelicans, but the whole front area, the head area was all white, and then the wings were like dark. So it was like white and then dark. And that's exactly the pattern that I remember seeing in Israel. And there was a whole group of like, there was like, I mean, there we saw thousands of them moving at one time, but here it was like 9, you know, but still I haven't seen them. And it was so exciting. And I'm a little bit more inland here where I am right now, not right at the coast. And so I mean, relative to some people, I'm near the coast, but you know, relative to this little area, I'm not right on the water, and so I wouldn't expect to see them out here right now. And so it's just really exciting. I love it's so cool. Like when you ask the question, I think sometimes when we put the question out there to the world, and then we get an answer, and it's just, for me, that's just so exciting to receive the answer, you know. And yeah, so just wanted to share my experience with that. Anyone else want to share what came up for them, whether it was emotional or whether it was something actual that you saw? Yeah, Julia, go for it. I see that look on your face.
Well, the weather has been really gloomy, cold rain here for several days, and a cold front has moved in. So now we had a freeze last night, and but now it's just sunny, not a cloud in the sky. So a cold north wind and all. But I'm looking out some high windows I have, and I see an ash tree which has not been particularly vigorous. I mean, it's been around 20 years at least, but it's still hanging in there. And through this window, I see the leaves have turned bright yellow, and the sun is coming in and just really setting them off in the north wind. And I wouldn't have noticed that if we hadn't been doing that this morning. I wouldn't have come and taken the time to look out. And yeah, that was a very pleasant thing for me this morning. Treat.
Yeah, I love that. It's interesting what happens when we just give ourselves permission. I mean, it's really not that long that we sit for, you know, like once we get going after we do our grounding exercises, it's just a handful of minutes that we have. And I just think, like, you know, it's such an easy thing to do, but I think it often takes, it's beautiful that we have this community to do it in, you know, because I think even for me, like I wonder, like, would I go out and just sit there for a couple minutes? And sometimes I do for sure, but um maybe not on such a rhythm like this. And so yeah, just what a gift it is to have all of us to sort of do this with, you know, because I feel like you all motivate me, maybe I motivate you, we all motivate each other, you know, as the group. And so yeah, thanks for sharing that, Julia. What a beautiful sight you got to see. Someone else want to share their experience? Not so much. Kelly, you have anything you want to share from the dog pen view? I know it's tricky on the phone. I can do the, here, I'll ask to unmute. That might
There
work.
we go. I found it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So you asked us to embody one of the sounds that we had heard, and I'm cheating because I turned on the fire pit this morning because it is 19 degrees out. But yeah, I was hearing the crackling of the rocks that are in my fire pit, and I imagined myself being one of those rocks and just being surrounded by the warmth of the fire, and then just the crackling, I think, is the burning off of some of the impurities of, the dust and dirt that got on the rocks, in storage time. And so I just felt like, just being enveloped and getting those impurities just burned off and clean and pure again. That's where I went today.
Oh, wow. I think that's a really powerful thing when you, I've done that a few times before where I sort of embody a rock or a giant boulder or something like that. And I've always had some of the most profound experiences doing that. It can be fun to play with like an animal, like embodying an animal. Like, what would it be like to be the bird right now? Like, what's my eye level? Or even like, sometimes years ago when I was doing tracking, we did it with like coyotes. Like if you're tracking a coyote, you get down on the coyote's level, like the eye level, and you sort of see, like, if you're in tall grass or something, you're like, oh, what would the coyote see right now? And you're like, oh, I'd have to like jump up every once in a while to like actually get a good vantage point. So it can be really helpful and fun, and just again give you a really like coyote eye view of the world. And so it's sort of, I don't want to say it's easy necessarily, but it's just different when you do it with an animate object versus a quote unquote inanimate object. And yeah, that's rad, Kelly. That's really cool that you went there. Anyone else? All right, y'all. Well, thanks for playing today. This is a fun one. And thanks to the ibis this morning that gave me the idea for this, the ibis in suburbia. And so, yeah, and lots of gratitude to all of the beautiful experiences in nature that you all are having. It sounds quite diverse, and from tank top in the sun to hat in the snow, we've got it all. All right, everybody. Well, have a beautiful rest of your week, and yeah, we'll see you next week. Happy Halloween too, if anyone's celebrating tonight or doing anything. I hope you all have a really playful, enjoyable, and also I don't know the actual date of is it, no, I was gonna say Cinco de Mayo. No, what is it? It's the Hispanic holiday for Day of the Dead. Yeah, that is a really, if anyone's ever gotten a chance to experience that, like the real cultural experience of it, not just like the party of it, like let's go out and drink Day of the Dead, like, but the real cultural experience, it's a real powerful experience, and just to imagine honoring our ancestors in that way. So just think about that throughout the week, that this is, I know we sort of play dress up with our houses, and like the house next door has like a graveyard, sort of dressed up in the yard, and like skeletons, everybody got skeletons, but really, like in some cultures, this was a time to remember the ones that came before us, the ones who passed, and to honor them in different ways, to put food out for them. That's something else that you can consider doing if you want to, is think about the food that we used to do, this thing called the ancestor supper that was shared with us from one of the native elders that we worked with. And the ceremony that he taught us was to, you do it in community, of course. You cook the food that your ancestors would like, not the food you want necessarily, but the foods your ancestors would want, or an ancestral dish. Maybe they will like it or not, but it's an ancestral dish of your lineage. And you can't taste it. That's the trick too. You can't taste it. And then you all come together, whoever it is, maybe it's your family, maybe it's a whole group of people. And then one at a time, you speak about what this dish is and sort of where it comes from, and what that means to you. And then you serve everybody. So you first serve the ancestors. You put a little bit of the food onto a big plate that serves the ancestors, And then you go around and you serve everybody in the room, and everyone does that one at a time. They talk about their dish, they share their dish, and in some places in the traditional way, this can go on until like sunrise. You know, you start in the evening and it goes, the whole ceremony goes until sunrise if you have enough people there. And in the morning, you take that bowl, that plate, or whatever it is for the ancestors, and you put it out, and you actually make the offering to the ancestors. And I've often found that to be really powerful. And so, even in your own way, if you just your own sense, you know, you could think about like what do my ancestors like to eat or drink? Some of them like alcohol, you know, so you can pour a little glass if that's that was something that your ancestors enjoyed doing, and just remembering them this time of year. So, yeah, just came to me. I thought I would leave you all with that. All right. Have a beautiful day, everybody. Take good care.
Thank you, Kristi. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, many blessings.
Yeah.